Former President Donald Trump will travel to Davenport, Iowa to give a speech on his America First education policy. This comes as his former Vice President Mike Pence called out Trump over the weekend, saying that history will hold him, quote, accountable for his actions during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. CBS News political director Fin Gómez is in West Palm Beach, Florida, with more. Fin, always good to see you. Former Vice President Mike Pence gave his harshest criticism on Trump yet. What has he said? How is it resonating with potential voters?
Good morning, Nikki and Anne Marie. Yeah, I was there in the room along with the CBS News contingent, and these dinners are typically light-hearted affairs, self-deprecating humor. But that was a bit of news that was a surprise to many in the room. I spoke to one of his senior advisors just before, and he said, you'll be interested in what he says at the end. And I was thinking it would be more of a joke, but with these comments, you're seeing him start to increase his criticism towards the former president and his former ticket mate, and which we could see more of if he launches his presidential campaign and jumps into the presidential arena as is expected. How it resonates with voters, that is something that we are still. We shall see, if you will, Nikki, because obviously it is a different crowd if you compare it to this Washington dinner with journalists, and when you're in these early voting states. The former vice president will be in New Hampshire later this week, and then in Iowa. So it would be interesting to see what he has to say there and how it resonates with those potential voters. But it's something that we are keeping an eye on, Nikki.
Meantime, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was in Iowa and Nevada promoting his new book. I'm sure that's all it had to do with book promotion. But of course, he continues to target what he's calling woke ideology, which I suppose is pretty much up to the beholder. I don't know if there's a specific definition for that. How is that messaging working out with potential voters? Do people like hearing about this?
That's a great question. With his visit to Iowa and Nevada, what you're seeing is this precursor to a potential run. Our CBS News reporting is that he has he's been telling donors privately and other people close to him that he is preparing to launch his campaign later this year. I think specifically what you're seeing in Iowa was that there was more of an openness to consider other candidates aside from Donald Trump. And you saw that in some of the recent polling. Des Moines Register had a recent polling that showed that he was on par with Trump, who still resonates as the early front runner here in this early part of this race. But it is something that we are seeing in terms of him laying out the groundwork, if you will, for this potential run and his increased visits. He's also heading to New Hampshire later this month, and so as you said, Anne Marie, it's seemingly just the prelude to a 2024 bid for the White House.
Fin, what can we expect to hear from Trump during his America First education policy speech today?
Yeah, I just spoke to a senior advisor to the Trump campaign who told me that the former president is expected to discuss a multitude of issues Monday in Davenport today, including education, trade, agricultural policy, which is big, obviously, in Iowa. And also there will be some political endorsements, and potentially even a retail stop in Iowa. It's important for that state specifically to have this retail politicking. Iowa caucus goers are big on having that personal connection, if you will. They want to, these candidates and potential candidates really need to, do some glad handing, go to attend some, go to VFWs and really sort of do that traditional sort of campaigning. And so I think that with the former president going to Iowa, it's also follows 3 days after Ron DeSantis was there, and of course Nikki Haley. So I think that you are seeing the 2024 campaign starting to rev up, and of course an increased activity and visits to these early voting states.
All right, Fin Gómez. Thank you, Fin.
Thanks, guys.